Do we have anybody yet? What's going on, guys? What's up? What's up? What's up? Happy Sunday. Let's see. Are we looking good? Mobile's in the building, man. Mobile is in the building. Hamster is in the building. Stock Hunter is in the building. What's going on, guys? What's up? What's up? Hit that thumbs up button as you guys are rolling in. You know, we're gonna be doing some quick reviews and a bit of a Q&A session, right? A bit of a Q&A session as well. Getting ready for this next week, the last week of August. Let's go to the calendar here. Actually, we have 3 more days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then it's on to September 1st, which will be on Thursday, the 28th. This date sounds familiar. I hope I didn't have that thing to do. I gotta check my mail. I might have a hearing I gotta do on one of these days. I think it might be Monday. I have to double check. But how are you guys doing, man, on this beautiful Sunday, right? How are you guys doing? So, this last week of momentum in August here, this last week we just had, hasn't been bad, right? The overall market has been pulling back a bit, right? If we look at the SPY and we pull up the daily chart, the overall market is back down. And so if we look at where August begins and where it's about to end, right, we want to also look at the overall market. And we've always talked to ourselves and always asked the question of, is there a correlation between small caps and the market at large? And in the past, I used to always say no, but right now I want to say there is a connection, but it's not that strong. There is a connection, but it's not that strong, and the connection has to do with the overall market sentiment, right? So if we go to some vertical lines here, let's go to vertical lines. Let's look at where, we'll use yellow. Let's look at August 1st, and in comparison to what we've been able to do this month, and where things are heading. And so August 1st, August 2nd, and we'll see here, let's say, what, July 13th, right? July 13th moving forward, we started to go into this uptrend right here. And I think this is what's important right now, man. We're seeing follow through, not just from stocks with breaking news, but stocks with strength, right? Let's say the stocks that are being backed by the overall market. And we usually hear traders in the community saying, it's like the tide that rises all the ships. So once the overall market is in this uptrend, usually we're seeing some more follow through, more volatility, more momentum. And so the last, going back to the 18th, we've started this pullback, and you can see it's been a bigger drop off. Now we've still had pretty good stocks, DRUG, NERV. Whether or not we traded those stocks well, they did it. They did very well. They did its thing, right? Those stocks did their thing, right? Let me speak correctly here. Those stocks performed well, right? Those stocks were impressive. So, if my performance, right? Performance, I can't really speak. Let me drink some water here. Hold up. Give me a quick sec. Yeah, if I did poorly on the stock, that has nothing to do with whether it was strong or not. Because sometimes we're pushing 50%, 60, 70%. If we happen to be red, it's kind of on us. So we did see opportunities, DRUG, NERV, and other stocks, right? NERV over the last couple of days. If we look at the 5 minute here, from, let's see, more recently here, they're stepping up, right? Around $3, up, up. It's been fighting. We had some pullback days, but all in all, we've been pushing. And we look back at this charting here from Friday. It's like, hindsight is always 2020, but the stock wasn't terrible. We definitely could have been patient towards some 5 minute setups. So, when when the overall market is rising, it seems like we're seeing a little bit more follow through. When the overall market is down, because I think everyone will agree that the last week of July, the first week of August, we had a lot of volatility. We had a lot of momentum, right? Nervous my top watch tomorrow for Mobile. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on it. I just switched to TD Ameritrade and I'm using Thinkorswim platform. Any tips? Yes, I do have some tips. Hold on, let me get the link for you. There's a few settings that you have to enable. There's a few settings. Make sure you enable these settings. That way you can maximize the platform. Let me leave myself a thumbs up. Although that was not my... Okay, there we go. Yeah, so there's this video right here. Let's pull over the live stream. Oh, the YouTube channel rather. There's a video, where is it? Stock related. Right here. Let's come across this one right here. Right, so let's grab this link right here actually. Let's click on it. Let's grab this link. This video here, I'm talking about a few settings. Let's hit that thumbs up button as well. There's a few settings that you can enable to get some better results from Thinkorswim. Right, so let's go ahead and pull that back in place, and I'll copy and paste this into the YouTube stream. Yeah, check that out, man. Check that out when you get a chance. Those settings will definitely help you out a lot. 20 people here. We have 10 likes, right? So be sure to hit that thumbs up button, guys. Eric Green is in the building. Eric Green, what's going on, man? What's up? Good to have you in the Discord, by the way. Eric stopped by, I want to say for the first time, I think, on Friday. Eric, another trader in the community who's been very active on YouTube in the past, right? And so, it's good to see him. I definitely know some of the guys know him very well, so it's pretty good to have another good trader in the community. It's always nice. So big shout out once again. Stock Hunters in the building, man. What's up, what's up, what's up? Year to date from TraderView, yes we can. I think I might have to upload for, I think I ended at 6, well it's not a big difference. But we can upload, yeah, later on. So year to date from January 1st to now, detail, we're at 40K on the year, which in fact was my, gains from last year. Last year we did 44K. So it's good to see that we have already, in a sense, bested last year, and we still have more time left in the year. So, we talk about, trying to be better and improving, and the last year was a bull market. This is a much weaker market. So it shows to, the improvement that we've been making, that slow and steady progress. This is last year, 187, 44K, which is beautiful, 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, absolutely lovely. And then we come again to this year, and I've mentioned this a couple of times already, but to start this year, January, February, I was sideways. In fact, I was red $118 for the first 2 months. So essentially in 6 months, of trading, if we go to March 1st to the rest of the year, in 6 months of trading, I was able to do better than I did throughout the entirety of last year in a bull market. That speaks for itself. I'm so proud of this right here, man, because we've been pushing, we've been trying actively, especially with this category right here, more than anything else, volume. Hey, can we be more aggressive? Last year, what was it, 40,000 shares maybe? We can take another look here. I believe last year was about 40,000 shares on average. So, not necessarily taking more trades, but taking more size in key areas, and 31,000. If I'm trading the same level of volume that I'm trading now back here, I think the numbers would be triple, because there was just so much momentum almost like every day, So it's why now we're trying to maintain size and just push size. So yeah, but there you have it for the year to date metrics one more time. And we can zoom in here. We can go F11 and we can zoom in a bit in case anybody wants to, yeah. Yeah, man, it's and the key thing about these results, I'm grateful to be green. And every day I'm seeing that there's room to be better. Every day there's something to work on. There's a lot of mistakes that I'm still making with discipline. There's a lot of things to improve upon, and to transition into my game plan for the upcoming week. Let's go back to the calendar, right? I want to talk about some of these bigger red days and red days in general for me and what they mean, especially when there's momentum. Now, I remember in week 2, right? Week 1, this is week 2 right here. I remember the week was going exceptionally well. Look at these 3 days here: 24, 825, 16. This day I'm up 1K. Let's see if the calendar, if we click on it. Yeah, here we go. This day I'm up 1K. And I told myself, I want to take on some risk. And I saw a $17 stock that is flying up and down $1 share within seconds. I opted to and told myself, you know what? I want to take on a lot of risks. I want to be as aggressive as I can be. And let's see what we can't do, right? Now, fearless. And I think that's the definition of fearlessness and being confident. Now, a lot of the times when I'm trading and I kind of have this system, right? It's like, okay, once we get to a certain place on the day, I start to become conservative and I start to watch where I'm at. And this is where P&L, right? We talk about looking at a P&L gets into play, right? It's something that we don't want to do, but I feel like I utilize it in a good way, right? So, if I'm up 1K, I tell myself, you know what? How do I want to risk right here? How do I feel mentally? Am I okay if I go down to 500 on the day? Am I okay if I go down to 200 on the day, meaning I've lost 800 off the top? How would that make me feel? How do I feel? How much risk do I want to take on? And this is something you guys could look into, right? It's not that you're looking at the P&L during the trades, but maybe after the first hour or something, you might check, okay, I'm up a decent amount. What has the sentiment been like to this point? What is the overall sentiment on the day, on the week, on the month, on the year? And if I take on a crazy amount of risk and I do happen to lose, which happened here, how will I feel after the loss? And it was a very conscious decision to take on this risk. If not, if I had kept to this style of trading, because and I always want to make sure that I say that I'm grateful. I was grateful for all of these green days, but it was a matter of trying to also still elevate, because even on these days we noticed there's so many things that we could have done better, right? And we always ask ourselves, on a day like this, if my size, instead of us 1500, my size, let's say, was 1500 to like 2500, 3K shares, what if I was using 4500 to maybe 10K shares? What would the green day had looked like then? And that's kind of what happened here and here on these next 2 days. And so that has a lot to do with these 2 red days right here. These 2 days, let's start with Friday, which just passed. Friday, it's a flat day. DRUG is a little disappointing because I didn't get the fills that I wanted. My first limit order that I put out was 6 cents below market price. I never got filled. The other one, I put out 2,000 shares. I had a partial fill. That would have been a beautiful trade of about 15 to 20 cents, right? Because it didn't really open up over high of day like we would have wanted. So NERV came along. I took a quick scalp, and right here on the day, I was up 188. Then I took a quick loss here. We're now just green $50. This is at 10:25 a.m. I'm just green $50. So 30 minutes later, 25 minutes later, PXMD comes along. I'm only green $50 on the day. It's a recent IPO, and we can click on it. It's a recent IPO. Well, that's little details rather. It's a recent IPO, and it's getting halted up. Thinkorswim did rob me, which I honestly forgot to call them. I might have to do that tomorrow morning because I still have the video up, right? I had some lag, right? I was right on a few trades. I had some lag, and then, we missed out on a great win, which would have been about $200, maybe $180, 18 cents winner, right? On the resumption, this is where the day, in a sense, is coming down to. Okay, there's a halt. Halts are volatile, and the question here is always, what is the risk? It's never for me the reward. I mean, and sometimes I do get blinded by that. I'm not gonna lie. And those days are days like this day where I could have been better, where I'm so fearless. It's honestly, borderline arrogance, because I don't even think that I'm gonna lose when I do know losing is always on the other side of the trade, right? So they say overconfidence is an issue, right? You want to be confident, not overconfident. When you become overconfident, you become arrogant, and you start to be blinded, right? And you guys know how I am. I'm a humble guy. It's not that I'm like trading out here and doing anything crazy, but what I'm really trying to say is that when this trade is about to happen, I'm not really thinking too much of the risk. In fact, I underestimate the risk, right? 1,000 shares, $10 stock, it's very possible to lose 50 cents on a hot resumption. That is standard. That is normal. But in my mind, it's like, I can maybe see myself losing 15 cents. And other than that, I think I'll be green in this resumption. And that was the wrong thing to do. And so, I kept to 1,000 shares, because I could have easily, and I think part of it too is that I've been asking myself about share size a lot. But you can't force it. You have to be honest with yourself and never force it. It's one of my rules on my bullet points. And I think right here in some ways I forced it, because we ask ourselves, okay, DRUG came, you were not as green as you would have wanted to be, right? You're not as green as you would have wanted to be. If you were green, would you have wanted, let's say I was green 350 or 400. Let's say I was green 400 right here, right? Before the stock comes. If I'm green 400, and I know I could potentially lose 50 cents on 1,000 shares and then be red on the day 100, I gotta ask myself, would I want to do that? And what I'm basically trying to get at is that I feel like sometimes on my green days, I'm a little bit more conscious of what a losing trade really means, which it's so crazy, because the psychology is kind of backwards. You think, okay, this guy is green, he should size up like a madman and just go for the moon, But on my green days, I start to then at a certain point think, okay, I don't want to give back too much of these gains, because I've been struggling with giving back. Let's come out of this, right? I've given back way too much, man. Like, let's go back for the beginning of this year. I've only retained 20% of my earnings, which is kind of crazy, which is really bad. Like, it's terrible. So far this year, I've made $170,000. If you don't even look at this, if we scroll up and you just see this, we're not looking here. Oh my God, RT, you made 170 grand on the year. Wow, you're doing amazing. But then you go down and see that I lost 130,000, and it's like, oh my God, Relentless, what are you doing? So when I'm green, I have this thing in my mind that starts to go off, that starts to say, be careful. And I think right now it's the right thing to do until I kind of become a little bit better, because the numbers are not lying. But when I'm flat, I'm not having that same mindset and approach, right? Like I mentioned, these last 2 days in a month, week 2, right here, this was much more conscious, right? These 2 days were very controlled days. Like, I can say that I really thought about it, and I decided to go for it, and that's why I didn't end up with big green. This day as well, you'll see I was up pretty close to 1K, sized up big and took a loss, right? Those 2 days I think are fine, because mentally, but these two I could have controlled, and I feel like I didn't do a good job of it. So The game plan next week, all right, this upcoming week, being that the market is slowing down a bit, I'll be careful to not take on too much risk. Let's put it like this: an unnecessary amount of risk on just one particular trade. And you know, to be honest, I can say now, right now, with confidence, I should not see a red day this size next week at all. It should not even be this close. Maybe $200 at most if I have a red day. So that is one thing that we have control of here in the market, is how much we lose. We can decide how much we lose. Now, this is how it goes with the green days, right? The green days, we can grind our way. We can grind our way. Things are a little slow. We don't want to be swinging for the fences. We don't want to be going for the grand slam. So quick base hits, quick scalps, quick dips. Not holding for too long on those dips. Just taking it off because we might not get back to high of day and make new highs. Taking it off before high of day and being content with the winning trade, right? So that way, we'll see a little bit more consistency. And the green days might be a little smaller, but if we see opportunity, our risk is going to be limited, and we'll give ourselves a good chance of adding to the green throughout the course of the day. So that's basically my plan for this upcoming week. And I think we'll do pretty well. LMD, man, what's going on? LMD, I was thinking, man, that phone call, right? How about we do something for both of our channels, right? I'd love to talk to you because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get great advice. So I was thinking, and I watched the video you sent me. I literally just watched it like an hour ago. I was thinking, what if we set something up this week, and we kind of have an open discussion, and maybe we can do like a part 1, part 2, maybe post it to our channels. That can be pretty good, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be some good advice. And of course, we'll have our disclaimers, right? Because it'll just be two of us talking, kind of like a podcast style kind of approach. And maybe have the other people kind of just, but we'll see. We can talk about that a little bit more. I'll send you a message. Sergio, what's up? What scanner do you use? Do you stream it in the morning? Yeah, I do use a scanner. In fact, I use Mometic, right? Momo Pro. This is the scanner that I use. Markets are of course closed right now, but Momo Pro is what I use. This right here is the gap scan, right? The gap scan every morning when we come in and we want to get our watch list. We'll come to the gap scan, see what's moving, see what's not, and from there we always move on to our stream, which is our high-low ticker, stocks making new highs intraday. There are halt alerts. There are conditional alerts, amount other things, right? You can create a watch list. There's a bunch of other things, and I do have a video out going over the platform itself, and another video going over the filters that I'm using. There has been a few updates, and I have really been slacking off. I gotta change up my schedule a little bit during the week, right? But I'll try and get out a video. I know I've been saying this, going over the updates, right? Like right now, you can run dual streams if you want, right? Dual high-low tickers for different volume profile. Let's say you want to watch a different set of volume for pre-market. There's a bunch of other stuff you can do, but yeah, this is the platform that I use. If you like it, you can use. I'm actually sponsored by this company, right? Momo Pro. You guys can use code Relentless for 25% off for 6 months, right? It's a great software, and it's what I use right now for all the hot stocks. Selfless plug right there. Looking in the Discord, there's a question there. So let's see. Hey, do you trade the breakout? Yeah, I trade breakouts and I trade dips. I want to also, trade the backside of the move, aka going short. But that is a work in progress. And I was thinking about sending over some money to a different broker, but I think I'm going to hold off on doing that for some time. I was going to do it last week, but I think I'll hold off and wait a little bit. I was going to send some money over to maybe Cobra Trading, and I'll open up a account over there. But I think I'll hold off on that. I don't know if it's the best thing to do right now. There might be other things that'll make more sense. because it is a lot of equity. It's 25K to send over to another platform. HK, did you set up an LLC for trading? No, I did not. I was going to at one point. In fact, I have the paperwork behind me. I have it filled out, but I never sent it in because when I spoke to my accountant, it ultimately wasn't going to really do much for me. And the way how day trading is, it's like it depends on your situation, right? That's what really is important. So you'll definitely want to consult with an expert, right? Whether a financial advisor, CPA. It depends on your situation as to if you should do it or not. If you have other income and you're looking to, work with Uncle Sam, negotiate with Uncle Sam, it makes sense to do it. But it depends on what you're doing and what type of taxes you're filing. With day trading, we do a 1099B, and like if you have W2, like if you have other stuff going on, it could make a lot of sense. But right now, being that trading is like my primary source of income, I can't really do too much to avoid the capital gains. It's going to come back to me regardless. I'll have to pay. So, yeah, but it depends. You guys can, of course, seek professional advice. Vitali is in the building. Guys, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. What's going on outside? Is that a car? Let's see. Steve, what's up? What's up? What's up? Tammy, maybe you should set a rule: when you lose 50% of your daily profits, you should stop trading. That is something to consider, without a doubt. That is something to consider. And maybe what I can do is some more back testing on my red days to kind of see. And it's not just red days, it's green days as well. I'll really have to plow through the metrics on a daily, day-to-day basis to kind of see how they're going. Red days, green days, how are we looking? On our this day is 154. How did we do on this day? Let's see. We're green, then we're red, and it's just a mess. On this day for green, it's like those rules sometimes I feel like can be good and also can be limiting. It's like if I start the day and I make $200 and I happen to be up $50, I don't know if I want to stop trading, because a lot of this, some of it's, I think some of it is the strategy. Like without a doubt, some of losing money, some of that is part of this strategy. Like this strategy, you guys will see my win rate ratio here is only at 50%. So it's like if I start the day up $200 and I'm now only green 50, it's like stopping the day there could essentially save me from a red day in a sense, or going back to zero, giving back even more. But I don't know, it's weird because there'll still be momentum a lot of the times, right? There'll be another stock, or maybe that same stock maybe pulled back and I might have given back something on a pullback. It's a little tricky to just be that rigid. It's like a blessing and a curse at the same time if I'm that rigid with the trading. Of course, on any day where I was going to just go and be red, it'd be great because I would stop myself. But then on all the other days where maybe I make back something more, then I would never know. I don't know. It's interesting. I think the best thing, and I don't know if I would want to do that. Like it's interesting to think about, but I think the best thing is to use my discretion, right? Because we'll know when the momentum just is not not it. We'll know. And I think those are the days where I have to do a better job walking away and just taking it slow. Not scalping when stocks is not worth scalping. Like that I have a problem with. Like a stock could clearly say, hey, I'm choppy, I'm going up, I'm dropping 10 cents. I don't know what makes me think I could still be green and I still try to scalp. Of course I'm down $100, That is a problem. That I'm trying to work on a lot. So I'm coming back down. I scrolled up a little bit to see what I might have missed. Let's see. LMD, that sounds like a plan. Yes, man. Was it how do you trade the breakouts? Okay, let's see. Chan Z, man. Chan Z, what's going on? Big shout out to Chan Z. Chan Z, man, we had that good conversation a while back. I hope you're seeing good progress. Yeah, the podcast stuff is coming. Hamster, can you believe Trading Farmer said that he doesn't know if he's happy averaging 2K days? Would you consider that an arrogant remark? Hamster, here's the thing, right? When when I was, let's go to year one. Let's go to year one of my trading journey, right? In 2020, when I first went live, and this, once again, under the context of a hot market, I was making $88 per day, and I was thinking to myself, man, if I can just do 150 a day, if I can like double my amount right now, you know, back here I'm working a full time job, or let's say a day job, not necessarily full time, but I'm working a day job. This is adding other income, more income. And it's like, man, if I can just do 160 a day. You fast forward a year later, it depends. Things change. You can evolve as a person, you can mature, and you can learn. And maybe you're trying to do certain things that are very grand, right? And grand will have a lot of different meanings for different people, but if you're trying to do something grand, now we see that I'm doing more than 160 a day. When I started doing this amount, was it great? Was I grateful? Am I grateful? The answer is yes. But I'm like, okay, I want to leave my day job. I want to become a full-time trader. That other income is now erased, right? And if I'm still working a job and I'm making this amount, I'm not going to be satisfied, because I know how much I was making at the job, right? I worked there for however amount of time, more than a year or two. And if I add the end of the year gains from that job to this amount, it's still not getting me where I need to be, where I want to be, where I envision myself being. And so it comes down to preference, right? And we've been hearing in the community that once you start to improve, you're going to have that drive to, in a sense, want to do better, need to do better. And it's not that Farmer's not grateful, because I'm pretty sure he is very grateful, right? But sometimes we have a hunger to us, man, to keep growing. And, what if he wants to have 3 farms, 4 farms? Maybe what he's doing right now is good for 1 farm, 1.5. What if he wants to open up 3 more farms? So, everybody has a different vision, a different goal, different mindset as to what they feel is good or comfortable. It's like we can get to a point where we can say, okay, let me take my foot off the gas now. I can finally relax. And even with me now, that's not how I feel, right? And you'll see the progress in there over the last couple of and look at the month. This particular month, I'm doing 516 per day, and I'm not happy with this month. I'm not happy with this month at all. It's way above my regular average, twice the amount. Going back from year one, 4 times the amount, 5 times the amount, but I'm not satisfied at all with this. It's like I felt like I could have just done so much better. There are so many opportunities I missed, so many trades I could have traded better. And I think that's the thing. For me, what it'll be, I think for me, more so than the money, it'll be mental. Mentally, do I feel satisfied with how I'm trading? Because what the dollar amount will follow our mentality, right? And am I satisfied with where I am with my trading ability, my trading style, my versatility as a day trader. And with the amount of mistakes I'm making every day, I mean, look at this. On the month, we made 56K and we lost 46K. You know, there's no reason to lose 46,000 on the month. If I'm only losing 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, you know, it'd be up 100K, you know. Well, probably not that much, but you know, maybe we add on was if we take 30 here, right? If we take well, let's divide this by 2. 20, if we lose $20,000 less, we're adding $20,000 in gains. You know, we're up 30K on the month, right? So there's just so much things to improve upon, and maybe he feels that same way, right? We see guys like Ross right now are doing 5K days. But look at where Ross used to be when markets were better. You know, 400,000 in a day. Now he's the entire year. I think he might be up 400,000. So there's that perspective. I think there's a lot of perspective, and one thing that I've learned about money, a lot now more so than in the past, is that there's a lot of money going around, and there's a lot of people who are wealthy people. There's a lot of money circulating, and you know, the idea of wealth is really fascinating if we can open our eyes to the possibility, right? We have to open up our eyes to the possibility. And when we look at real money, 2K a day is no money, even, you know, relatively speaking, right? I know that's a bit of a long drawn out answer, because there's real money. I mean, there's real money. There are some people with real money, you know, and it's like, hey, 2K a day, man, oh, please, you know, that's kind of how they would react to it. You know, there's some people out here who are big investors, or maybe they have some really serious companies, right? 8-10 figure companies, you know, raking in some serious earnings, right? Revenue. Did you use Thinkorswim paper money when you were in the simulator? Yeah, so I did trade through Thinkorswim. Back then, Thinkorswim, you know, TD Ameritrade was its own company. Now, TD Ameritrade belongs to Charles Schwab, right? And apparently, once Charles Schwab bought Thinkorswim, well, TD Ameritrade, it seemed like they didn't have a lot of interest in the simulator, and it seemed like they pulled out money. You know, less developers, less, you know, less everything, less maintenance. So right now, the Thinkorswim simulation has a lag. There's a delay in this simulation. I don't know how. I think it's like 5 seconds, and this delay, you know, this delay is making the simulation not worth it. So if we switch over, we'll have to log out. Actually, I'll have to log out and log back in. But yeah, it's making it so it's nearly impossible to like momentum trade and scalp and be able to learn properly. So, you know, like what I do have is DAS, and the DAS trader platform also has a simulation, which, you know, you guys, it is a little pricey depending on where you are, $150 a month. But, you know, if you can cut back in some other areas, it'll definitely be worth it, right? Because we know with trading, if it's not guaranteed, but if we can get to the other side, the rewards can be tremendous. We've seen some people turn the corner and are making $50 a day. Others turn the corner, they're making $500 a day, $5,000. And so, you know, depending on where you are mentally and how confident you are, you know, your finances, and then maybe a few other things, you can be very successful with it, right? Once you do turn the corner. NERV, will it go back up tomorrow? I don't know. And to be honest, I'd prefer a fresh stock. But if this one is in play, I'm going to look forward to doing my best. It seems like it did pull back a little bit. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see. I find that I overtrade and give back gains, which most of the time I start green and end red. Daniel. So Daniel, you know, we had some advice earlier which said if you give back more than 50% of your gains, have a hard stop. So if most of the times you're going from green all the way to red most of the times, then I think that rule might make a lot of sense. For me, I was a little, for me, I'm a little on the fence about it because of how my metrics are. But if you feel like, and if your metrics are telling you, especially that you are giving back and going red, because despite me giving back, we're still green 10K on the month, and you know, we gave back a lot still, but we're still doing all right. If you guys get what I'm saying. But if majority of my days are red and I'm really struggling, then I definitely consider, hey, if I'm up 100 and I go to 50, that's it. Hard stop, no matter what's going on, shutting it down, Xing out my platform so I don't have to see anything and feel any FOMO, and moving myself away. That's something you could consider doing, Daniel. And if you do it, give it like a probationary period, right? Maybe you give it like 2 weeks to just see how it impacts your trading. If it impacts your trading very positively, maybe it's something you implement forever. If you implement it and it's you feel like it's negatively affecting your trading, then you can try a different way. And that's the beauty of trading, right? And we talk about making progress. That's exactly what progress is. But you have to understand that it will take time, and don't feel as if you're missing out on anything, right? Because even if it takes you 2 weeks to see if it works or not, you've gained that knowledge now, and you've eliminated, if it, let's say it doesn't work, you've eliminated something that now you can move on to the second thing, the third thing in line, and keep trying. Because then once you get it, once you find it, that the thing that works, boom, boom, instant resolution right there. Darnell, we too fly out here, man. Darnell, man. Darnell, man. One of these days we gotta link up, bro. You gotta hit me up, man. Take me to one of those fashion shows, man. I can do a little bit of everything, man. Let me know. Darnell, the man. Can we do some analysis on Nerve? Yeah, we can do some analysis on Nerve here in a little bit. Let's see. Friday was up 125 to start the morning and ended only up 19. Yeah. So Evan, try it out and see how it goes. What kind of patterns do I look for before deciding to enter a trade? So we can answer that and analyze Nerve at the same time. And this is going to be under the context of me being extremely disciplined, right? Now, this stock I know is hard to scalp. So looking at the 1 minute time frame for 1 minute candles to make the new high is irrelevant automatically. And I did a recap on Friday where I said I traded this area here. Let's see. It's just so easy to be disciplined but so hard at the same time. I traded here to like here, trying to scalp 1 minute candles to make the new high at no success. I made $40 after like 20 trades, 10 trades, like 10, 15 trades, I don't know. Waste of time, absolute waste of time and energy. This stock right here requires a longer hold time. It requires patience. It requires discipline. And when we look at it, right, let's look at Friday's charting. And if we do consider the 1 minute, the only place I could be buying is the 1 minute pullback. But we'll look at the 5 minute dip here and, kind of look at this in a bit of a longer, because the 1 minute pullback is the same concept. The 5 minutes just, a longer time frame. The first thing I want to start by doing is mapping out this high of day level. We open up, we're choppy, down, up, down, up, down, right? We had a high of 589, right? 589 is our first high of day level. Okay, we sell off with light volume, and we've been watching other traders in the community, and we've been hearing about this right here a lot. Hey, when stocks are selling off, with light volume and are holding, pay attention to it. You might not want to keep it as your main stock, but keep it at least, keep an eye, keep an eye on it, right? Look at this volume here, right? 600,000 on average right here, right? 600K. And then once it drops down here to lows of 530, we start averaging what, 150,000 shares on average down here. But we want to keep note that it's not breaking low of day. Low of day is at 513, so I can put another trend line now going at low of day. So when we talk about analysis, right, if I'm to be patient every day and to be as disciplined as I need to be every day, we can do so much of a better job. Low is at 513. And sometimes I gotta slow myself down, just slow down, right? On this light volume, we did not break below our low of day levels. We had a low of 21, and this is where we start to curl. We can essentially look at this as a triple bottom. Where my first trade will come, this area here I'm still new to, so I'm not as aggressive to take the trades early and be buying this dip. I think I still need a lot more time to see this and how it plays out, right? But we've been seeing in the recaps, shout out to our guy Crispy in the Discord, right? These areas are worth watching. My first trade would come as we pull back, right? So as I mentioned, this stock has been hard to scalp. I've known that for days now, right? Before Friday, I've known that. Patience is the key. Where do I like to buy dips, right? Into previous high of day levels. We ripped to a high of 637 right here, right? Previous high of day, this white line is at 589. Where does the stock pull back to, right? So the VWAP bounce has also been working well. So we talk sometimes about, how should we approach the trades at the lows? And we've determined that, hey, taking one bulk order sometimes is not the way to go, because we want to give the stock a chance. Maybe sometimes we overshoot the landing zone, right? So look at the low of this move right here, 590. If I'm watching this area of 590, 89, and maybe I'm considering, okay, we could pull back to the VWAP as well. Let's see, let's pull up our crosshairs here. The VWAP at this time was around 577. Now 590 to 577 is only 13 cents. High of day is at 637, right? So from 590 to high of day at 637, that's 47 cents of potential profits if we can get back to the highs. So I'll ask myself, being that 47 cents is the potential, how much do I want to risk? And my trades must always be a 2-to-1 ratio at minimum. So there's no way that I'll be risking more than, let's say, 23 cents here in this particular trade. And that's how I can determine an entry. We talk about what type of setups I look at. This stock, I had the information. I knew scalps were not working, so looking at the 1-minute candle charts once again for quick breakouts didn't make any sense. I needed to be patient, needed to be watching, needed to be waiting, and once this opportunity presents itself, I can see it. I can have my stop in place here below 77. If I happen to get chopped out of the trade, okay, we can always get back in somewhere else. But look at how beautifully it goes from 590, and the high of this candle here, 635. Did it break high of day? The answer is no. But from 590 to 635, you already made your 40 cents. If I'm in here with 2K shares, 1K share, if I'm in here with 1K shares, 40 cents is $400, right? This is why when I trade right now, I'm so frustrated every day after the recap, because it's not like I can't see this, it's kind of interesting. I don't know, it's like, it's so easy. It's real time, it's always a little bit more tricky, right? Hindsight is 2020, of course, but if we are paying attention, patient, sometimes you're watching too many stocks and it's a problem because you'll miss these areas. But this is why there's room for improvement, and this right here is a bull flag, right? I know it's a little bit of a long drawn out answer, but this is a bull flag. Picture your country's flag on a pole and then maybe a little sideways like that, right? Picture your country's flag or maybe it's a little triangular, right? So if we zoom out, right, let's increase this here. We're seeing a flag, right? This is the pole, right? This move up here is the pole. All of this is the pole, and then this sideways consolidation is where we're seeing the flag, right? This is the flag right here. Now my drawing is a little poor, right? We can do it like this as well, right? This is a bull flag pattern, bull flag formation, and I always have this rule of three. There's a bunch of rules that I have, but we made the high, we pull back. We go up, we pull back. Where are the entries? 1 and 2. I can take this trade twice. If it goes up again and comes down a third time, this is where I want to avoid it, right? But it still happened to hold right here. It's a pretty strong stock, and you can see how well, it's respecting this white line going across. 1, 2, 3. This entire area here, it holds again. And we talk about accumulating positions. How do we accumulate a trade and let the position ride and work for us? By buying these key areas with our stop in place and holding and giving the stock a chance. Right here would be an aggressive buy for me. But it's one of those things where it's like, if you really are paying attention, right? Because we came up with good volume here. This was I did watch this. I thought it was a little too tricky because of this topping wick here. But if you're watching, and maybe it's a trade you might want to take with lower size this time, but for me, I don't usually take the third dip. But anyhow, right, it does hold, and people, maybe some of them are in here and out here, right? Some people might still be holding from here, holding something small, and once it does hold it again a third time, maybe they add back, and look at the result, right? From a low of 592, to highs of 858, and you're in this type of thing with a few. It doesn't have to be big size because how well it works. Just 1,000 shares here can give you $2K, $2 a share. Did you expect it to work so well? And part of it is, of course, maybe you're unwinding a little early as well. Maybe you're unwinding here, but maybe you don't come away to full 2K, but maybe you do walk away with 600, 800, 1K. This is one of the setups I look for, the bull flag formation, right? We talk about analyzing this thing. Volume is key, man. Green volume versus red volume, and this is my number one indicator of telling if a dip trade is going to work, is when these volume candles here are much higher than our selling candles, right? So hey, when we're buying and we're strong, we went up with 1.9 million and then again 1.5 million. Now that we're seeing some resistance and we're a little choppy, we came down with 1 million, right? Oh my God. We came down with 1 million. My younger brother is going crazy getting yelled at. We came down with 1 million, and then look at this. The low of the pullback here is at 400,000. This is screaming buy the dip. This is screaming buy the dip. Put a stop in place. If you happen to get stopped out, don't take it personally. But it's screaming buy me here, sell me higher. And that's exactly what happened. Right? So, there's a couple of other patterns. We talk about the ABCD, which is this W. Think about the W in the English alphabet. And let's see if we can point one out here. This was actually not even yesterday. I was looking at the wrong day the entire time. But anyway, we did trade this day. We did trade that day. All right, let's see if we can find an ABCD. There's one right here already. Look at this, right? Look at that. So the ABCD, we talk about the double bottoms. I don't, some people say A and then B and then C. I don't look at all that, right? All I look at is this W, right? And this area here, okay, we already mentioned this stock isn't really too good for scalping, and it's also after a previous pattern, right? Bull flag right here, move up, okay, right? So the W is coming in. We need a pullback, right? We find our lows right here. We find our lows, right? We find our lows. Look at the volume profile. Look at the volume. Once again, when we're going up with our volume, our buying volume, it's much higher. Look at these green candles versus when we pull back. You see this decline in volume when we pull back? That is the sign that a stock is going to hold. People are paying hundreds of dollars for this. Guys, hit the thumbs up button. I'm doing it for free. And if you're better at holding, you can trust the volume. But of course, make sure your stop is in place, because there are days we pull back with light volume and still fail. Although it's on the lower side of we talk about probability, right? This is on the lower side that this sells off when the volume is this low compared to our buying volume going up, So the ABCD, right? We ask ourselves, hey, where are the entries, right? So we first find the bottom right here, right? Then we curl up and we have this pivot, right? Then where do we go? We come back down again, and coming across from this area, we test the same levels, right? So back here we had lows of can I get my crosshairs going? Okay, there we go. Yeah, we had lows of 884, 885, 886. How many times we're gonna hold this level? VWAP once again is at 867. Okay, it's a couple cents away, but what is that? 13 plus 4, about let's say 16, 17 cents away VWAP. Maybe I can have my stop right below the VWAP, right? VWAP, the last line of support once we come down, right? But let's say you're not confident to take the entry here right away. This is a sign to pay attention to, right? As we start to curl, look at the volume, right? Look at the pullback volume, right? Let's say an average of 600,000. Let's use horizontal lines here. And we can use different colors, so that way we can, have a better view, right? So let's say average selling volume was around, let's say 500,000, right? I mean, we can even go lower because they're really lower than that. Yeah, let's say about 450,000. We'll leave that in yellow. Let's come back to another color. Buying volume, let's see, 800, 1 million, 1.9. So as we curl up, look at our green candles, we're curling up with much more volume than we had going down, right? And so this is a good sign. Now we do have this candle here that closed red, but it's not a big red candle, so that's something we want to consider as well, right? So let's erase this for now. Okay, it's a tight red candle, right? We had so much selling volume you're claiming, but yet we didn't sell off, right? So this is where the ABCD is so key. If we're noticing these small subtleties, right? Once this comes back around over here, right? Let's get our drawing tool going. Once this comes back around, right? So we're up, we're down. Once it comes back over here and we start to hold again with this light volume, I mean, look at how light the volume is again. So lows of what? 891, right here, 891. Now the VWAP is very tight against where the stock is. So if you're in here, before VWAP was what? 15 cents away. Now VWAP is right there. So you don't even have to take the trade with that much risk. You can have a tighter stop against VWAP right here. And look at that bottoming wick. Look at the volume that rips in and surges up. And there's people who see this stuff and are just murdering these stocks every day, every single day. Guys like Ross Cameron, guys like Warrior Trading, they're seeing this, and it's like I'm saying, it's not so hard to realize, but it's not easy at the same time. Like it's if it was easy, I would have never had red days. I would have always been up over 1K. But I think with enough time, which is why I'm always grateful that I'm young, in 5-10 years, is like there's no way I continue to make these same mistakes in 10 years. It's just not possible, because I'm seeing the change. It's slow, but I'm seeing the change. So we need to be confident. We need to accept the risk. We need to take the position and let the stock work. And if I'm trading this thing really well, I'm taking about 5 trades. In terms of, like, let's say buy orders, 5 buy orders. Maybe I'm unwinding, so maybe I'm selling. If I buy 1,000 shares, maybe I'm selling in 200 share increments. I'm selling 5 times to get out of the trade. So let's say I'm in, and then I'm selling, selling, selling. Maybe I sell 3 times, and even if you don't catch the top, that's fine. You made money, right? That's how this should have went. That's how this should have went. This is how it should have went. Because when a stock is not scalpable, scalping and buying the lows are so, they're night and day. There's a lot of similarities, but it's not the same, right? It's just not the same thing. Scalping and dip buying are completely different, and I think the issue that I have is that I've been a scalper for so long that the break and bail mindset, this is like me going against my nature, buying these dips. So I'm really having a hard time doing it, right? And there's people out here. Sounds like my brothers are getting yelled at. There's people out here who their minds are working, and a lot of this stuff. Don't blame yourself, right? Let's say, it depends on who you are, your culture, your background, everything that's made you to this point. So if you're in math class and you're having a harder time understanding the equation than someone else, don't be upset about that, right? There's that person in class, university, grade school, who, as the professor puts up the equation, automatically their mind just boom. And I think that's where we get a few traders who are naturals, because they'll study for a few months and they'll see it. And once you start to see it, you can't unsee it. And I really think that's a thing, because we see it in other fields as well, right? But don't be afraid to put in that work, put in that time, grind if you have to grind, and know that that hard work can pay off, right? You too can elevate and reach the high levels. And so when we look at the patterns and we dissect these stocks like this, it's here for the taking. We have to be disciplined. We have to accept the risks. We have to be willing to take the risks. But these opportunities are here. Are they going to work 100% of the times? The answer is no. Without a doubt, they're not going to work every time. And that's why we have our stop in place. If this happens to fail right here, we take the quick loss. We get out below the VWAP. We talk about, hey, the 2-to-1 ratio in the trade, right? Minimum of 2-to-1. High of day. And this is how I determine my risk in the trade when I'm looking at the 5-minute pullbacks. The breakouts are different, right? But high of day is at 10.25. Low of the pullback here is at 8.84, 8.85. From 8.85 to $9 is 15 cents. I mean, do you see how much potential there is right here on this particular dip? This is a beautiful. I mean, look at the volume here. I don't know what I'm doing to not be taking this. I sometimes do myself a disservice a lot. Twin. There's a member in our Discord. Her name is Twin, and she mentioned that sometimes when you study, it's like you push a knife through your heart, because this is here. You know what I'm doing during this time? I told myself, man, I had a scalp trade here or early in the day, wherever it was. This thing is on my no trade list. I already knew it was hard to scalp. So what the heck is wrong with me? Like, be patient. And that's the thing that's messing me up, is that the scalper mindset is still dominating my brain, which is why I'm not going to even consider sending that 25K to Cobra, because if I can't master this, what in the world would make me think that I can go and short a stock on the backside? It'll be too much conflict of interest in my mind. So, being that person in grade school or college who has to stay behind, maybe for tutoring, or, maybe going home and looking up a different way of doing it online. That's who I am. And so I'm going to keep doing this because it's here. I can see it. I can see it now. It's just mentally. I have to battle and defeat my demons. So, these are a few of the setups that I look for. We talk about analysis, and you see how the volume profile also does the ABCD, right? The volume profile, we can use another color here. The volume profile also does the ABCD, right? So we come down, we have our pivot, and then we curl right back up. right? So it's there. It's following, and this is why there's an indicator that this is going to happen when we see the volume start to pull back. When this is so high, dominating our red candles, chances are we're just seeing profit taking. And people have to, in order for investors to make money, they have to sell. They can't hold this thing and keep buying it all the way to $15. I mean, that does sometimes happen, but before a big drop. But it's normal, it's healthy to see a pullback, and this is a healthy pullback. If we can buy this low, we can then sell this high, and that's the goal. Scalping, I want to say buying the lows is a better strategy than scalping. I think it's a better strategy than scalping. And that's a lot for me to say, considering that I've been a scalp trader from the start. Scalping, I think, can make us good money. If you're strictly scalping, you can make, if you're doing it well, and I think if I'll be very honest, I think Ross was a scalp trader before he had the explosion that he had. And before he was doing 2,500 on average per day. But once he started buying lows, buying dips, whether it's 1 minute, whether it's quick dips or long duration dips, whether it's 5-minute pullbacks or 1 minute pullbacks, 1 minute dips, whatever, when I say dips and pullback, it's the same, I'm referring to the same thing, right? Depending on which terminology you want to use. But Ross was averaging 2,500 per day in solid markets, decent hot markets. But then once he figured out how to buy the dips, to buy the lows, the pullback with confidence, he starts averaging 20,000 a day. He 10x's. So scalping can, of course, and I've made money scalping, but I think the dips are also a testament as to why I'm just as green as I was for the entirety of last year, despite having 2 red months. The dips have saved me on a lot of days. They've saved me in a lot of trades. They're not to be underestimated. They're not going to work every time, and market sentiment is also key. There might be days or weeks on end where the dips are all failing, but by the third time that we're seeing the consistency of failing dips, we stop taking them, or we take them with very small size. And when they start to become consistent again, we start to attack them aggressively. And that's how we preserve our accounts, right? Because if you have 10 winning trades on dips, there's no reason to even allow yourself to go to 10 losing trades on dips if by the third, fourth time it's already showing it's not working. That way you'll still have a 2-to-1 in the ratio of winning to losing trades. And because you already have a 2-to-1 in the winning trades themselves, it's like, in order for you to even be, if you take 10 dip trades that are winning trades, and you take 10 dip trades that are losing trades, you should still be green, because your ratio is always 2-to-1 or more in the trade. Even if you don't always get the 2-to-1, your ratio is always absolute. And the only way you can really have a negative ratio being 1-to-1 is if maybe you get caught in like 4 dips that just absolutely, let's say this goes like this and then goes like a big red candle like that. If a big red candle like that comes, then we couldn't really do anything about it. And this happens maybe less than like 1% of the times. It happens, but not that frequently, when all the other indicators are so well represented. So very, very long response right there. Hope you guys didn't mind that. But answering 2 questions in one, so that's the good thing, right? Some analysis on NERV and what type of setups do I look for. Now, this type of analysis is relevant for this type of stock because I mentioned it's hard to scalp. Stocks that are good to scalp is a whole different story. And I can scalp green candles like this for gains. The scalps are powerful when they're working, like when stocks are linear and smooth and the bids are holding up, the spreads are tight. We can make a tremendous amount of money scalping, but you got to be careful when it's not working. When it's not working, you have to size down and ease off. And that's once again how you preserve your account. Because even with the scalps, it's break or bail. If I'm in and it's not going, I'm out. So I shouldn't really have a big loss unless I'm in and immediately the stock flushes down. Then you kind of catch a loss. Maybe one loss can wipe out like five good trades, which is always the worst. But even then, when stocks are strong for scalping, that doesn't happen because all the other signs and signals of the stock being good is well represented, right? So we need to do a good job as traders being selective, and ultimately I think we all know what works for us. It's not a one size fits all, because some people are trading the imbalances and maybe they're long all the way here, or maybe they're swing trading from here and they're selling up here, and they're doing a whole different type. Well, it's not say different, but much longer, duration, and it includes multi-day, and there's different strategies. But I think deep down we all know what works for us. So we have to really be honest with ourselves, and be patient. Like it's so easy, but so hard. But what makes it hard is that we allow ourselves to do nonsense a lot of times, you know, and that's what makes it hard. It's like if we could have been just computers, and I think it's why some people try to make algos and make programs, because it's like if I can take all the good that I see and put it into, a trading bot, then the trading bot will be near flawless. But trying to get that to translate is hard. But I think that's why people try that, because like it's, to be honest, man, like to be blunt, if I utilize my skills to 100% and I'm disciplined to 100%, I should already be up 150 grand in this year. Like, I see enough opportunities for that to be a reality. Willingness to take on the risks. Like, my account is pretty big. I don't utilize it really. I don't really utilize my account at all. So we talk about scaling in, accepting the risks. These types of trades, I can take size. I can take size. I can take size. If I want to take 10,000 shares down here, I can. But the willingness to do that, right? But, and I think what will happen is that once we as the traders continue to be better with discipline, continue to be better over time with experience, I think it'll give us confidence to ultimately take more size. Because, one of the issues I have now is if you're struggling, if you're seeing this but you're struggling, what's the point of taking size? Because you're not really going to be doing what you need to do anyways, So it's like, okay, master it, just master it, work on mastering it. And once you have it down to the T, then just absolutely moon your size. Go, even if it means from one day going to 5-10K, and then, over the next 2-3 weeks going to then 10-15-20K, do that. Because once you master it and you do it, let's say on the trades themselves, you have about a 60-70% accuracy, and you're always shooting for that 2, 3, 4 to 1 ratio, what can possibly go wrong? Over time, over the course of 6 months, a year, if you're respecting yourself, being honest with yourself, hey, okay, man, the market is pulling back. We notice dip trades haven't been working. Time to size it down, take it slow. Maybe we avoid a few dips. Let's give it some time to make sure these stocks are actually curling up. We do these simple things, and it's like the opportunity is endless. And I think that's why people trade even when they're struggling. I think, because we can see it. A lot of times we can see it, man. Yeah, so that was a big, long rant, ultimately, but I think it was good. As you guys are tuning in, hit the thumbs up button, right? Support the channel. If you are a new viewer, I am a profitable trader, right? These are my trader view metrics on the month. This has been my best month ever in a bear market. Last year I'm not the same trader that I am this year, so last year I couldn't capitalize as much. And despite starting the year with 2 flat months in January, February, we're still here averaging 255 a day, 40+ thousand on the year, looking to be better, looking to inflate these numbers over time. So let me check out the comments and see what else you guys are saying here. We can shut it down pretty soon. It is getting late. I don't want to hold you guys up for too long. Hey RTD, watch the float rotation for possible flushes. Yeah, so on E-Trade, they'll have this tab right here that says total shares outstanding. On Momo Pro, we'll have it here as well, right? Float, right? For each and every stock, the float. Um, Although I find that this float tab here is more so the shares outstanding, total shares outstanding. But anyhow, I do utilize it. That's all I'm trying to get at, is that I do utilize it. And when a stock is high in float, it has a lot to do with supply and demand, right? The float of a stock, aka the amount of shares available to the public to trade. If there's a stock with 1 million shares available to the public, then it's not going to take a lot of people, let's say, for that stock to start being volatile. Volatility presents opportunity, and so we're looking for volatility. We're looking for stocks with, let's say, limited supply, right? Now, there has been stocks with high floats, a lot of shares outstanding, let's say 200 million shares, but just remember that in this world, speaking from the perspective of the market, the financial market, and investing, there is no shortage of money. We all have 4, 5, 6, 8 times leverage. There's these huge hedge funds, algos, high frequencies, institutions. There is no shortage of money. So when there's a high float of 200 million, it doesn't mean it can't move, but there has to be enough demand so it can move. If enough people are interested in that particular stock and that headline, that news, high float stocks can move exactly like low float stocks because there's just that much volatility there. It doesn't happen as often for obvious reasons. It's just going to take a lot more, generally speaking. But when they do get going, they move the exact same. And so I do trade high float stocks, which is a little bit more rare, right? But yeah, so float rotation, I definitely keep an eye on. Usually the lower the float, the less volume it's going to be required, the less demand. And, you guys, we don't need to over talk it, right? You guys know supply and demand, right? Economics and business 101. My younger brothers, man, I don't know what they did today. This is one of the things I've been asked before. How do you feel about a office space? And I don't ever plan on doing it for the rest of this year. Maybe at some point in the future, though. But an office space, I would love to have an office to do in-person videos, like have people fly, well, not, let's not even say fly, because there's so many of you guys that are right here. But if there are people traveling and people who want to stop by, like for networking reasons and like video purposes, I think that'd be great. I mean, but right now I'm saving money, so I'll be here for some time, maybe another year. Am I missing some stuff? And there's a lot more questions that came in. RT, let's see. The bull flag worked. Yeah, it's getting a little late. We have a lot of people. There's 71 people, which is a good amount for Sunday evening. It's a lot of people. Sundays, people are watching sports. I think NFL is back. Sunday night football. It's usually pretty big. People kind of taking it easy, getting ready for the week. Stocks or crypto? Stocks right now, but we're looking to get into crypto as well. Why not, right? Crypto seems like, it's not going away and it's been pretty good. So, we talk about Ethereum, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, although that one isn't as strong. Back when that one was moving, I was very, very close at actually having a home run. I had a friend at work, this is back when I was working at Amazon, who was kind of telling me about it. But, I'm a trader. I know not to put money into things blindly. That's like gambling. So I never really, considered it. This, it's below 1 cent at this time. Then it pushes to 5 cents. There's so much hype that starts to come around it. And, I had $3,000, of just like cash sitting around. I'm like, should I use this as risk money? It's a decent amount. I called my brother. We spoke about it for like an hour. He was also, thinking about doing it. But ultimately, it's like, man, you know what? This isn't our area of expertise. We are day traders. Let's just use our money to day trade and keep making our slow, steady gains. That $3,000, I put money. I put 500 instead, or was it 100? No, I put 100. I put 100. I only put 100, and that $100 turned into $700, which is absolutely ridiculous. Um, from 5 cents, it just kept going. 10, 15, 20, 30, 35, 45, 55, 60, 70, 75. If I had my $3,000 in there, it would have been ridiculous. It would have been absolutely ridiculous. If I had put that amount in where I had sold, I would have made like 25 grand in, what felt like 2 months, I think. That would have been absolutely ridiculous. But hindsight is 2020. There's always risk, and I knew that there was a potential that the trade could go the other way, which is $3,000 going to zero. So crypto is coming soon, and crypto has been here. But in terms of me, I'm looking to get into it more and more. Let's see, on Friday the open, say you bought the dip on the bull flag on nerve and drug, they both flushed. Yeah, so so the dip, right? Okay, this is where you have to use discretion, and I think it's where experience will show. Let's say a drug. I actually had an order to buy the dip. It depends on where you're looking for the dip, though. If you're buying up at like 373, it dips to a low 56. Maybe you got chopped out of the trade. On drug, I had an order to buy at 49, but it didn't pull back that much, and it was so disappointing because if you guys saw how I approached this stock from pre-market, I wanted to trade it in this area here. I ended up missing this particular dip, this 1 minute dip. It pushes from a low of 34 to a high of 41 and then 42. Missed out on 8 cents. And in this area here, I thought it would have pulled back, but it started to holding on light volume. And it was 925, 924. I'm like, okay, we'll get ready for the open. I have a rule where there is no scalping allowed in pre-market, and when it ripped to 42, I thought about it. I wanted to do it. My discipline kicked in. I said no. It would have worked, but it wouldn't have been good for me because it probably would have encouraged me to scalp on other days, which ultimately is a losing battle in pre-market. The dips are what's really working well. It rips here, and if I'm looking for dips, where am I really taking a dip here is the question, right? Pre-market highs are at 347. It rips, and this is where I could have gotten the trade. It rips up to a high of 64 and pulls back, let's see, to a low 55. But even here, it's like the pullback wasn't necessarily long or sustained. So it's hard to buy the pre-market highs, right? 350, it's hard to buy 350 as this dips back down. Now on this candle, there is a wick here, so it seems like we had a high of 64. It closed at 57. I'm not sure how much it dipped down, but the low of the next candle was 55. What I was watching at, I told myself, okay, the pre-market highs looks good for an entry during the open early. And I'm usually never this aggressive because I have a lag at Thinkorswim, but I was confident that this would have worked. So at 348 for pre-market highs, or 347, I put my order at 349, and we can check it. We can check the order here. Let's see. Accounts, and no, this doesn't show. Let's see here. I thought that would have showed Friday. Oh, the 26th. Cancelled. It'll be right at the open, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. Let's see, DRUG right here, 349. I had my order just 1,000 shares to buy, and it just did not come that low. And so we talk about where you should buy the dip. It depends on the charting, of course, but of course, for you seeing where the entry should be, it'll come down to screen time and experience. And I thought 50 was a great area. It only came as low as 56, 57. So I missed this dip into the open. I missed the dip. It didn't pull back that much. The bull flag right here, the 1 minute pullback, I tried. But it was a longer hold time. Let's say 40, 50 seconds required. I wasn't holding that long. And so it ripped, right? It absolutely took off. This dip right here at VWAP has been holding. At 72, I had an order of 2,000 shares right here. It does not fill. And I ultimately, 600 shares filled right here. 72. You see this right here? So this is why I'm telling you guys, like, a lot of the times I'm seeing the entries, right? I'm seeing the entries for the most part, but I got to be more patient and more disciplined is the word. Discipline. Patience and discipline. Right now maybe I'm at like a 60% in patience, 60% in discipline. I need to complete that 40%, and that way I can really dominate. This order, unfortunately, 1,300 shares of it does not get filled. But I sold, let's see, where am I selling this? Let's see. Market, it doesn't seem like the market order is showing the price. I don't know why. Oh, okay, yeah. 95. Okay, there we go. 95 and 401. And we sold some as it came back down. But it'll come with time. But this is a good place. It's 8:54 p.m. I hope you guys are having a good Sunday. Hope you guys had a good weekend. For me, the weekend was productive. I did a good amount of stuff, but Sunday I'm not too happy about because so much. I think for me, I need to start my day the night before. I mentioned this in that video I put out. Sunday, I didn't really do a good job Saturday night. Saturday night, I was up late. I ended up playing some video games. I have to take my younger brother to the train station because he's heading back to university, at 12 a.m. And so I kind of played some video games to stay up. Didn't want to fall asleep early. And I think, that is something that I allowed to kind of get the better of me. Okay, you want to stay up, but when you come back, go to bed. I came back, I continued gaming. It's why I don't really like to turn on the video game sometimes. It's just distracting. So I woke up late on Sunday, went to the gym late, didn't really do the videos I wanted to do today. Saturday, Friday night, I did everything so well. I did 3 videos yesterday. So we gotta, let's make sure we stay productive. Let's make sure we also have that balance between work and having fun. And let's get a good night's rest. Let's have some good dinner. I already ate dinner though. Trying to eat dinner early before it gets too late in the day. So I had dinner at 6 p.m. And tomorrow morning I'll see you guys bright and early for another beautiful day in the markets. It's been Relentless Trader. Have a good rest of the day, guys. Stay safe, stay green. We'll be back tomorrow for a beautiful day in the markets. Can't wait. I can't wait. This one more thing, right? Let's make sure that as traders, we cherish every day that are not trading days. In the past, I used to be obsessed about wanting the next day to come. Like sometimes in the recap, I'll say it, but I don't really mean that. Like, oh man, it's 10 p.m. 10 a.m. I traded the first hour. I'm done on the day, whether it's a green or red day. Oh man, I want the next day to come so bad. No. From 10 a.m. to midnight, you have a whole day in front of you still. Whatever time you're done trading, whether it's 4 p.m. So make the most out of the days and then know that that day, that next trading day will come at that same time regardless. So, you know, you don't want to go in hibernation, sleep for 20 hours over the weekend just so that trading can come faster. No, nonsense. So let's enjoy that downtime and put it to good use, and then come back refreshed, ready, prepared. And so, you know, we enjoy the time, right? Whether it's with family, working on a different business project with friends. So yeah, take it easy, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you tomorrow for another beautiful session. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe. It's been RT, and I am, of course, signing out.